Arse Brothers production. Follow us on Twitter at The Arse Brothers. Get all our content on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify and SoundCloud at Arse Bros. And if you like what you hear, don't forget to smash that subscribe button.
Welcome to the Friday Arse. It's Friday again. We're live, Cory. How are we doing, mate?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I was a bit funny earlier. I'm a bit tired. I've been up since God knows what time. I've just had enough today.
up doing what?
Mate, I've got a child with sleep apnea.
Okay.
This is my issue. Yeah, this is a good excuse.
Yeah. That just shut me up. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh dear. Right. How did we feel about the Leicester game, mate? We'll just go into that one.
Go straight in. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we've done our how you do's and everything. Well, actually, I'll tell you what. How's your week been, mate?
Week has been up and down. It's been a little few stressful moments, but that's life. So yeah, it builds character. But prepares me for being an Arsenal fan. So yeah.
Oh, I think being an Arsenal fan builds more character than just life itself. The amount of ups and downs we go through.
Exactly. It's like nobody could ever say you get it easy. Nobody could ever say, you have it all your own way. It's just not something that an Arsenal fan knows anything about. So yeah.
This is true, mate. This is true. But yeah, so my week's been same as you, mate. Up and down. The weather's turned a bit up here as well, so it's gone a bit cold over the last couple of days. So that was a bit of a shock. I was getting ready for the sun to be out. I was like, yes, it's about time. Bit colder now. I was thinking, right, it's nearly t-shirt weather, but no, it's changed.
No, listen, mate. It was cold today. It's cold yesterday. I got icicles coming off my balls. It's but before that, we had a couple of days of sun. So I'm thinking that's it. Heating, turned that off. Like, Eon, you're not getting any more of my money. And then nope. Yeah. I would say like English weather is like a woman's mood. You just
time of the month.
Yeah. But yeah, you never know what you're gonna get. It just changes like that for no reason. Yeah, no reason. So it is what it is. We love women and we love England, so we just have to deal with it.
And some of us love chocolate.
Some of us more than others, yes, mate.
What are you trying to say? No. So yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So we'll just talk about the Leicester game. No point doing a full review. But what did you feel? How did you feel after the Leicester game? Was it a big relief? It was for me.
Yeah, I was. I mean, look, again, we got put through the ringer. We knew there's going to be a tough game, and then we go a goal down pretty early. So it just felt like, here we go again. Yeah. But team came back, and they came back strong, in that first half. So to turn it around, within the 45 minutes like that, was quite impressive, and we deserved it. We after they scored, then it was us. We put it on them. We controlled that match. We played with a bit of vavavoom. We had some pace in our play. We had some determination. We had a bit of passion in the way that we're playing. We came there for some points, and it really showed. And when we looked at the team lineup, it was a bit like, oh, fuck off, Arteta. Like, really? Willian starting? Like, are you joking? So we, for 1 week, can speak positively about Willian and his performance. And, it's only taken until March.
Since
it's only taken until March for us to get his second good performance in a match. Yeah. And I was quite impressed with him. His work rate was good. He was incisive in the final third. He looked dangerous when he was on the ball. It was like he could create something. Most of the good things that happened came through him. And I was like, wow, all right. There is still a player there after all.
Yeah, definitely. And him and Pepe were my standout players for that game.
Yeah,
and then running them ragged on them wings, absolutely running them ragged.
Yeah, and with Pepe again, he was showing good form before we started dropping him for Aubameyang or dropping him for Smith Rowe to play on the left, Pepe was looking all right. We were actually quite happy with his performances. So he kind of picked up where he left off from there. And again, he was running the raggy. He looked determined, and a determined Pepe is a scary player to play against. If you are a fullback, if you're a defender, and you got to deal with this guy, you know, when he's on it, it's the pace and the movement and the trickery, the dribbling. It's all top class, and he's a problem.
It's basically what we were seeing when he was playing on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
you know, he was causing issues then.
Yeah, so it looks like it's nothing to do with the actual side that he plays. It's just what's going on with him, and you know, if he's in the mood or not.
Yeah, I think my theory is on that one. I think he plays. I think, to me, I found he was playing better with Cedric behind him than what I do when we see him we're playing with Bellerin. That's just in my opinion, you know.
No,
Cedric to me is a better defender. So I don't feel like he has to, you know, he needs to constantly come back to help out. You know, he's ruining his own game by, you know, just not doing what he's meant to be doing or what he feels he's meant to be doing.
You said it's not even your opinion, it's just a fact. I think everybody's saying that. It's like Cedric, you know what you're gonna get with Cedric. All right. He's a decent right back. You know, he can defend, and when he gets forward, he tends to go on the outside, and he can actually cross a decent ball.
Yeah, he takes the line.
Yeah, he takes the line. Now, when you're somebody like Pepe or Saka, you know, you have to be unpredictable. You don't know. You don't want the defender to know if you're going to go outside, if you're going to come inside. You know.
Yeah.
And so when you've got someone like Bellerin, who in himself, when he's attacking, nobody knows what he's really going to do. You know.
He always cuts inside anyway.
So he's going to cut inside. So now where does that leave your attacker who also wants to cut inside? You know, they're forced to go out wide. So if Pepe's playing with Bellerin goes inside, Pepe has to go outside. Pepe is too far out now to do anything effective. He doesn't really want to cross the board if he's on the right. No. So he then becomes ineffective. When you've got Cedric there, it's just, you see him coming forward. Yeah, you can play little 1-2s with him. Do you know what I mean? The defender's not sure, what's Arsenal going to do? Are they going to sort of come inside or then put it out to Cedric, and are we going to have to try and block the cross? Like, you know, it's just way more effective. And every time you see Cedric play, whoever's playing in front of him tends to have a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see it. You can see it. Now the manager needs to actually just be brave enough to say, all right, you know what, Hector, it's been good, but actually this guy is like, he's more effective than you are. He actually makes the team play better. You know,
he's making that £72 million signing play better.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hearing that you want to leave anyway. So, you know, here's the bench. Like, take a seat and get used to it.
Yeah, sure. If he goes to Barcelona, he's definitely going to get used to that bench.
I mean, I'm not at this stage. I mean, Bellerin is decent. I mean, he's not terrible right back. You know, he's just not what we need. I don't think he works for the rest of the team that we've created, and I probably feel like he does need a change of scenery. I think he's just got a little bit complacent, especially because it doesn't really matter what his performances are these days. He doesn't get dropped, so that's definitely going to breed complacency. So yeah,
I tend to agree with that, actually, to be fair, because it's what we saw of him a while ago. Because maybe 2-3 seasons ago, where he couldn't do no wrong. But he was constantly getting picked. And it's like, well, you can see sometimes that he is doing wrong. He's not really... We know he can't defend very well. He's not a full-on defender. So it's just like, well, it's one of them times where you feel like you're really frustrated with Bellerin, but there's no one to replace him. And he knows there's no one to replace him, so he can play and do what he wants. But now we've got someone like Cedric who could possibly, just like we say, he just slots in and he can do a job. Surely that should raise your game, but I just feel like he hasn't raised his game.
It's just, I think just Bellerin's just got a bigger profile than a Cedric. So there's been talk of him and his potential for a long time.
Yeah.
So you kind of, so when you've got someone like that at Arsenal who was tipped to become just maybe all-time great right back because of the pace and how he was going forward, He could score goals. You know, he would rip defenders to shreds. You know, just with pure pace. He's had that in his brand for a long time, and then you kind of play him to see if it will come back, but it hasn't come back. And Cedric is just a guy that we got for cheap from Southampton.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's kind of why he keeps his place so often. But I think we just need to, like, if you just want to win games, then we need to just do what needs to be done.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, all in all, good game, great win.
Good game, yeah. It's like I said, we just controlled it, man. We controlled it. We got, you know, the goals were good. You know, Laka got a penalty. He seemed really happy about that. I think it does get to him when he gets dropped. I don't think he's a striker that sort of takes it lightly. So when he gets on, even if it's a penalty, you saw the passion that he had when he scored that. We rendered their attack pretty much ineffective apart from their goal. They had a couple other little chances and whatnot, but our keeper handled it pretty well. But yeah, it was just a nice, good, comfortable win against a good Leicester City side. They did have injuries. We talked about that last week. No Maddison.
Key injuries as well.
No Maddison, no Justin. That helped, of course. So it could have been a different story had they been playing. But we changed our team a lot too. We lost Smith Rowe. You know, pretty early on through injury. And we made a lot of changes. So that wasn't our first team. So, you know, fair's fair.
Yeah, this is it. And that's it. And you got to take your chances when they come, haven't you? That's the way it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
If you see the win, you pick it.
Yeah, it was a good 3 points. I was actually really happy about that.
Yeah. Let's hope we take it into this weekend.
Well, here we go. That's it.
Yeah. But before we get on to that, I just want to say hello to everyone and thank you for joining us in the chat. We have got our usual suspects in there. We've got DWTT. Thanks for joining us again, mate. Scunny, Cory. Where is everyone? This is my fault, mate. I tend to forgot to invite people, and I knew Cory would come on because he's my partner in crime. So it's just me and thee tonight, Cory.
Hey, so
it's like old times, isn't it?
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You and I. Sing along if you know the words.
Yep. Let's go for it. I can't sing for shit, so you're not going to sing for it from me, mate. We've got sentiment in the chat as well. Big up, mate. Big up, Scunny. Shout out to Cory. We've got I'm not seen this one before. Be on the ball football. Evening, guys. Evening to you too. Thank you very much for joining us.
I know Be on the Ball. Big up Be on the Ball. I think podcast coming from her very soon. She's a big time gooner, and big up Be on the Ball.
What is it with you and the ladies, man? After last week, you had the lady in the chat, first lady that we've ever seen on Arse Bros, I think. now we've got another one. Cory, you're attracting them, mate.
Well, listen, mate, soon we'll be inundated.
Be on the ball. We'll keep an eye out for your podcast. By all means, if you need to post it on our chat and let other people know that you're doing it, by all means, go for it. We know DWTT, he's got his he's got his podcast as well, so by all means go for it.
Also, big up my boy Ash. I featured on his the podcast that he features on, Play On Podcast. So that's on Spotify. So if you go and Play On Podcast, check the latest one, you will hear me on that as well.
Bloody hell, everyone's getting a plug in out there today. Go for it. Why not?
Right.
Go for it. So I suppose that probably brings us into the Burnley game, mate. I'm actually looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, Burnley, they've taken 4 points from us in the last couple of games. We lost, and I think we got a draw. So they're not exactly a banker for us. Their form has been a bit, I think they've got quite a few draws of late, and then they got smashed by Tottenham. So they're that type of team, aren't they? They're just a team that they can get smashed by Tottenham and then they can come and beat us 1-0 as well. Yeah,
it is one of the teams where they're either hard to break down or easy to break down. It tends to be one.
That's the thing with them. Yeah, we kind of know them as a sort of tough northern team, you know, who really dig in and are well drilled and whatnot. But every so often, a Liverpool and Man City will put 4 or 5 past them. So it just depends on what side they got out of bed on, if they had their Weetabix. Because if they're in the mood, then they can make it really tough for you, and they can grind out a win. And then, you get an early goal against them, and they can fall apart. So
yeah, I'm going to say I've been to 2 Burnley away games there myself, and one of them was the last game of the season in 2019, and we absolutely smashed them 5-1. And then the last one was 2019-2020 season, and it was a ball draw. So it is hit and miss. It's one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And they're one of those teams where nobody knows who plays for them. Their best player over the years has been their goalkeeper. Yeah.
Oh, Pope. It is Nick Pope, isn't it still?
Pope, yeah. Pope.
It is definitely Nick Pope.
Right, yeah, Nick Pope is their best player. How
has he not gone to a bigger club?
I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know. You know what? When it comes to goalkeepers, when you look at, say, the top 6, top 7, top 8, I think everybody's pretty happy with their goalkeepers, even the backup goalkeepers. So
Chelsea,
where does Pope go?
Chelsea had Kepa, and look how that turned out. They could have easily gone for Pope. Instead of going for, is it Mendy? Is it theirs now? Is it Mendy?
They got Mendy, yeah.
Yeah.
They got Mendy. Sometimes Sometimes it's not as easy as that. You got to look at who.
Very true.
Is that team that they play for willing to let that player go? How easy is it going to be to make that transfer? So you have to. So that's what. So with Pope, it's going to be a matter of it's got to be the right time for him to move on. But right now he's getting a lot of playing time, which means that he gets consideration for England and whatnot. So it's all right for him. But when it comes to Man City, they're happy. Liverpool, they're happy with their keeper. Us, Leicester, Tottenham, they're pretty. Everton, there's not really a lot of.
Pickford, I think he's on his way out, surely.
Maybe. So when that happens, then someone might go for a Pope. But until then, Pope. Sometimes when playing a mid-table team like that is great for a goalkeeper. You just get. Look at Martinez. He's going to Aston Villa. He really gets to showcase what he can do because he has to make a lot of saves. And now his save ratio and his stats are up there with the best in the Premier League.
Well, if you're going to get more shots taken at you, your stats are going to go up.
Exactly.
Or down, depending on how good you are.
And he's getting better and better with every shot. So guarantee Martinez, Aston Villa is like a stepping stone for him. He might be there maybe next season, and then after that, he's going to be at a big club, maybe abroad.
Yeah, I can see him more abroad than anywhere else, which is fair play.
Yeah, but with the rest of Burnley, you can't even say who would you take from Burnley? Who's the outstanding player at Burnley? You don't know. They're just a well-drilled team that you take him out, put him in. It doesn't seem to make too much of a difference to us, the non-Burnley fans.
Yeah, this is true. Sorry, I did have this up earlier. Be on the ball. I'm the same one from last week. So we haven't got a new one. We've got an old one.
It's the same one.
Thank you for joining us again. It's the same last from last week. Fair enough. Can't argue. But yeah, to go on to team news, Burnley, Jack Cork is out. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I should do my own work, but I just can't be asked. And Robbie Brady and Johan Bergundermunderson, they're being nursed back to full training, probably not going to be playing. So they've got potentially 3 players out of their squad. So, yeah, to me, like you said, I'm not too sure of names. I'm not too sure of players. Like you said, though, they are a well-oiled machine, I would say. So a well-drilled team. You can't underestimate them, but like we said, they're either really good on the day and you get something out of it, or you don't, like a draw, or they fold under pressure and you get something out of it. So I don't know which way it's going to go, but I've got some quite high hopes for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some stats from the last game when they beat us at home.
Yeah.
And it's like we looked all right in the match in terms of stats wise. We had 65% possession, 18 attempts, 6 on goal compared to their 2. 13 corners compared to their 4. Their goalkeeper had to make 6 saves compared to just our 1 save. But obviously, and the other shot went in. Obviously, we got a red card. I think we remember that. So that didn't help. So once again, we come across a team that we owe them one. This because everyone seems to beat us, so we always have to sort of like repay the favor. So yeah, we do owe them one. This game was quite controversial because Xhaka jumped up and grabbed one of their players' throats, and there seemed to be some double standards from Arteta. Because shortly before that, Pepe did the same sort of thing, and he got absolutely got criticized quite a lot by Arteta. And then when Xhaka did it, it was like, oh, it was passion, Yeah,
Guendouzi did it or something similar along them lines.
Yeah,
and got sent out the football club.
Yeah, and we already speculate that Arteta has his favourites, and things like this happen, and it's like it really sort of lends well to that belief.
Yeah.
So Xhaka, don't do no more stupid shit. Like,
no, we don't need it. Same from David Luiz. We don't need any more stupid shit.
Yeah, don't do no more stupid shit. It's time I hope you got all the stupid shit out of your system, and let's go and continue off that good performance against Leicester, and get the 3 points. We definitely should be. We've got to get some momentum at some point. It can't always just be start.
Exactly. And I'm sort of with DWTT on his comment here. He enjoyed the Leicester City game, but it makes me greedy. It makes me greedy because now I want more of that. I agree. It does make you greedy. You think we played so well against Leicester. It wasn't necessarily the first team, the full first 11. But it's like I want more of that. We need more. We need to keep this momentum going. And Leicester, I think that should be a stepping stone into what you just said there, to not do the stop-start, because Leicester, regardless of who they were missing, they're still a good team.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to beat a Leicester, then a team like Burnley is the team that you want next.
Yeah.
So you can build some momentum. It shouldn't, if it was Man City or something after, all right, cool, that might disrupt it a bit. But this is actually like a really good fixture for us. We didn't have a Europa game, so we could play on the Saturday. So
the Europa game's after this one, so yeah.
Yeah. So we've had the week to rest. We've rotated in that match anyway. I think Smith Rowe could be available again for this match.
Yeah, we'll get on to Arsenal team in a minute. When we're finished. Yeah, we'll get on to the Arsenal team.
Yeah, so let's build up some momentum, because that's my big criticism of Arteta. He seems to be incapable of creating momentum, either through just shit tactics, lack of motivation, or bad rotation, bad team selection. So I'm not too sure what he does here, because it's like, well, because we rotated so much, but against Leicester, but the players that actually performed were the guys that actually don't normally start. It's like, what should we do now? Should we give Saka another rest? I think so. Like you said, we've got the Europa game coming up. Yeah. So I think maybe play that same team again, so that Smith Rowe and Saka and Aubameyang are ready for the Olympiacos game.
Might be an idea. To be fair, I can't see anything wrong with that. As long as Willian turns up, then it might be the best thing we can do.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but don't drop Willian. Like, don't drop him. Actually, just like let him build on that. Because bottom line is he does play every game, whether he deserves to or not. So if that's going to be the case, he might as well be good. So just play him again and see what he does.
Yeah, and Sentiment to put up a comment: can Willian continue playing well? Well, we hope so, mate. It's a massive question mark on it, but you never know if he's got another game in him, and if he can do well against Burnley, then why the hell not? And it gives us an opportunity, like you said, Cory, to rest some players, which we might not necessarily need, but with the games coming up after the Burnley game, we've got Olympiacos on the Thursday, then we've got Tottenham on the Sunday, and then Olympiacos again. So resting players might be the key to this.
Yeah, and look, we're all our eggs are in the Europa basket. So
they are now, definitely.
Yeah, so you have to prioritize that. So you are going to have to utilize Williams and Pepe's and whatnot if if we really want to be able to attack those games with with well rested players that are fresh and might have to play above and beyond in order to get the result. So yeah, Willian, hopefully he can keep playing well. Hopefully we can keep playing him. Hopefully we can keep relying on him. I don't see why not. This is the worst we've ever seen Willian in his career. So it's not like this is his typical form. This is not what we've been seeing is not what he's been about for most of his career. So let's hope it was just a long blip and that he can get back to the Willian that we saw at Chelsea.
Fingers crossed, mate. But yeah, as we're saying about Arsenal, we're getting into it. Smith Rowe should be available, or is hoping to be available, and that's pretty much it. We've got no other injuries at all. So yeah,
which is amazing.
It is amazing, and it's great to have at this sort of stage in the season as well. With so little games left, league games. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 games left in season. Right. That's just in the league, sorry. So it's good to have no injuries at this moment. It's a key time to have no injuries. Over the next couple of games, like I said before, we've got Tottenham in the league, then we've got West Ham and Liverpool, and then it's sort of a bit of a downhill. I'd say a bit of a downhill stretch. A couple of bumps here and there with the likes of maybe Everton, Chelsea, and possibly Crystal Palace as well in there. But we've got like the likes of Sheffield United, Fulham, Newcastle, West Brom, and Brighton in there. So mixing it up, resting players for key games, that could be the difference to maybe even pushing for a top 6 finish this season. I'm not saying it is by all means. I don't. Well, we're definitely not going to get top 4. I know that. That's my opinion on that. But top 6, it's not necessarily our reach. I think we're 8 points behind, 8 points away from 6th. Oh, okay. There's a lot in between that, and with the league being as it is, it's quite up and down. So top 6 could be a possibility. I think top 4's gone. So anything like we said before about the Champions League or anything like that, the best route for that is through the Europa. No ifs, no buts.
Exactly. It's no ifs, no buts. That's the only way we're getting in. And Europa's still not easy. You still got Milan, United, Tottenham in there. Other good teams are in there. So it's not like we're doing much better than them. So it's a tough ask to win that competition. So, getting Champions League football next year is a long shot. It's definitely not happening within the league.
No.
And I don't know if it's happening within the league next year either. I am sort of struggling to see, how we are going to ever get back into the Champions League just because other teams seem to want it more than us. But hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully that things turn over and we just turn into a really wicked team, and and we can go and do something. But this year, I mean, we have to. I'm not in terms of if you ask me what the percentages of me think is it actually going to happen, I would probably say it's less than 50% that actually believe that we're going to win the Europa League. But there still is a chance. I still think it's possible. So
with the tournament and knockout stages, there's always a chance. There's a better chance. There's a better chance of getting through that than there is getting top 4.
And the good thing about it is that when you do go against teams, when it gets to the later stages, when it gets to sort of quarters and semis, the teams that are in that are already get Champions League football, they do tend to just think, well, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't tend to be their priority. So even if they look good on paper, they're still quite beatable.
This is it. This is it with tournaments, mate. That's how it is. There's always that. There's a better chance going through a tournament than there is going through a league.
Yeah, exactly. But we still want to keep winning the league. We want to build that momentum. We want to still give ourselves that like you said, that chance. 8 points ain't that much, So to give ourselves that chance of finishing top 6 if it's going to be possible. But
there's a lot riding on it. By all means, there really is a lot riding on it. there's still a possibility there. It could happen. It couldn't happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm more swaying to not saying it isn't. I think we're probably going to get maybe 8th, maybe 7th. I think that's my sort of opinion on that, and I've taken that. I sort of did that at the start of the season. I didn't think we were going to hit top 6 this season, but there's still an outside chance. It's a big, a miracles happen sometimes.
So what does that mean then? So if we get knocked out of Europa and we finish 8th, then we've pretty much done worse than we did last season.
Yeah.
So we've gone backwards. What does that mean? What does that mean for the club? What does that mean for Arteta?
I don't know, mate. I haven't even thought that far ahead on something like that. Well, there's going to be some questions going to be wanting to be answered in that. Obviously, does Arteta, if that's the case, we don't get top 6, we don't get Europa. There's going to be the big question, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Arsenal fans saying, and probably including myself, does Arteta keep his job?
And if he does, do we give him money to strengthen?
Well, you're going to have to, regardless of if he keeps his job or not, or a new manager or head coach or whatever they want to call themselves these days comes in. They're going to need money. We haven't got, the squad's clearly not good enough for the league.
But do you let Arteta have a say as to who we buy?
Well, does he have a say now? Doesn't he have a say? I don't know.
I think he does.
Is it up to do? Is there 2 or 3 of them in a boardroom talking amongst themselves with like they do, and they have a profile, a page, and they've got a picture of the guy there and full stats and everything. Do they go through all them before they even start buying? That's how I'd assume that would happen. Go through it. They'll probably watch YouTube videos of the person. I don't know. So yeah, I assume that's the way of doing it. So yeah, I would say he has some sort of say in it.
I think so. I think he has a big say. I think when they changed his title from coach to manager, for me that signified the fact that he's got a lot more say in terms of, ingoings and outgoings. Yeah, he's got a bit more clout. I think that signified that. So I think he does. But if he finishes 8th, and that's it, no FA Cup this time to sort of gloss over anything, then it'd be like, as a club, you're like, well, okay, we just literally just went backwards.
Yeah.
We went backwards with addition. So, some guys left. We brought in some guys. We brought in a Thomas Partey. We brought in Gabriel and whatnot, and we're still 8th. So questions need to be asked.
Yeah, I agree. And does it bode well for us? There's also the flip side of that with. Sorry, I'll just answer this question. I'll just answer this statement first that Beyond the Ball put up. Edu, in a recent interview, said that both he and Arteta have a joint say in the transfer market. I'd assume that. That's how I would have put it. But like what Cory was saying, Arteta is going to have a bit of clout in there as well when it comes to who he wants on. At the end of the day, he's the one who's coaching him. So he's gonna have probably a good say on who he wants. So yeah, I agree. As I was saying, if we do finish 8th, on the flip side, if we don't get anything this season, on the flip side of that, it didn't really do Chelsea much harm. All right, they did have a massive transfer thing where they brought a shit ton of people in, and they ended up winning the league the next year. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do. But it might help us in the long run. It might concentrate on the league.
Yeah. Sometimes I flip-flop between that because we play such a different side in the early stages of the Europa. You think to yourself, well, what difference does that make to the first team?
True.
It's almost a completely different 11. And then some of those guys that play, you want them to play, you want them to get a few minutes, you want them to show what they can do. So I think it's been a while since we looked at Europa like it's been a bad thing. And then when we do get to sort of this stage and we play some first team players, okay, that's cool, but they weren't playing before. So in terms of like concentrating on the league and whatnot, I don't think it's as simple as that. Because because of how easy it's when it's the Champions League. I agree. If somebody's like not in the Champions League, then you have an advantage in the league because the same players that play in the league are the ones that play in the Champions League. But Europa, it's different.
True, very true. Yeah, because I suppose it's smaller teams, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that really sort of counts with us.
Yeah, I get that. DWTT says Arteta is staying, so he gets the summer window and probably get the whole season. Not sure Arsenal want a revolving door or managers. Hopefully they support him, upper management and players. I think they do support him at the minute, the upper management and stuff. You got to look at, we have had some really rough, we've had a rough season. I feel like we've had a rough season. And anybody else by now, Chelsea didn't even have Arthur. They had a poor start, but not as poor as Arsenal. They ended up sacking Frank Lampard. So it's a case of we're not in the case of actually getting rid of managers and stuff. So it's a really tough one to call what you want to do or what you want to see the club do. As a fan, because it's so mixed. Everyone has so many different opinions. And Cory, you've made your opinion very quite clear, obviously, on the show about how you feel about Arteta. So it's and I'm swaying more towards what you're thinking a lot of the time. So yeah, it is a really tough one to call and what you're going to see and what we're going to see from the club, because they've never really been an open club. Everything's always in the hush-hush quietness of everything else. There's not a lot of, up until recently, there hasn't been loads of rumours kicking about that's coming out of the club. Our sources from the club have said this, and suddenly that's all gone quiet now. So I wonder who that was. Ever since the transfers.
Well, you know what? I don't want a revolving door of managers. I really don't. I just want the right guy in the job, and just from what I've seen and what I want as an Arsenal fan, and what we've been shown, it's just like I don't know if this guy gets it, and I don't know if this guy's capable of producing it. So I don't want to revolve into managers, but you do want the right guy. So if he does go, just make sure the next appointment is a good one. That's it. Really think about it. Really think about what the club needs, and what the fans want, and what success looks like, and if it's achievable, and then get that guy. Because even with Lampard at Chelsea, Abramovich knew he was taking a risk with him. He's had like one season at Derby, but he's a former player. Give him a shot and see. I'm sure he had it in the back of his mind the whole time that he could possibly sack him. So
yeah.
As soon as it started going bad, he was like, "Yeah, all right, cool. You had a chance. You're not the next Klopp. You're not the next Pep." Not yet anyway, and I can't afford for you to be like learning shit and making mistakes and blah 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 whilst my club is falling down the table. So it's as simple as that.
I'm here to win titles.
Yeah,
and, I bought this club to win titles. I don't need a trainee person.
Yeah, because they weren't getting Champions League football with Lampard there, and that's a big deal for them considering they just spent 300 million. So he had to pull the trigger. Tuchel's come in. Yeah, he's unbeaten since he's come in, pretty much. Just beat Liverpool yesterday, and that's it. Now they're back in the Champions League spots.
Yeah, that's
simple.
Very true.
Simple.
Very true. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's
what
definitely
about Arsenal did that? What about Arsenal did? What about if we instead of Lampard getting sacked, it was Arteta that got sacked, and we brought him in, and we then went 10 games unbeaten, and then we got into the 4th place. Happy days, right? But we didn't.
Obviously.
Yeah.
We Arsenal tend to make them mistakes, don't they? It's a case of when a decent manager comes on the table, or a well-known manager who's done great things for the clubs that he's been at. What was that?
What?
What was that?
What was what?
Like a bee or something flew past your mic or whatever it was.
I don't know. I got an iPad. My little one's here. He's got his iPad on. Yeah.
I wonder what it was. I was like, am I here?
I get used to it.
Yeah, you see, I'm the same. I just because it all come through the ears, like. But yeah, it's always a tough one, and like I was saying about Arsenal, we always tend to be behind the times when a decent manager comes onto the market. You know, we missed out on Klopp because Wenger wanted to stay. We missed out on same situation with Pep Guardiola, Ancelotti.
All of them. We've seen so many managers come and go, you know, and we were like, ooh, you know.
Oh, is there an opportunity here?
Yeah, you know, and then there's a point where everybody really wanted us to get like Allegri, you know, and didn't bother. So yeah, we see it. There's many times when Wenger was here, and yeah, Pep became available. We're like, leave Wenger, leave, step down, make room. But same with Klopp, and then Klopp was like, oh, I want a club that's about this sort of size that I can work on, you know, really start a project. And we're like, yeah, that's us, you know, leave Wenger, leave. You know,
time's now, go.
Yeah, go. You know, Klopp is available, but nope. And then we just waited, and yeah, it was. I remember being so frustrated. I was so frustrated back then. I really don't have to go through that again. You know, with a player, with a manager who's at the other end of his career, because Wenger was at the end of his, and Arteta's at the start of his, but nothing's really changed. In fact, it's got worse. You know. So, you know, that's pretty much the bottom line. Yeah. But Arteta, listen, if you're listening, and I know you are, you can change my mind.
Apparently, from what I've heard, Arsenal do watch all these podcasts. They've got all the media and everything else, and you know, they employ all these people to do whatever and sit on the computer and see who's bad mouthing who and stuff like that. But you know, how many? It makes sense though to me. You know, how many times did we say? Your Europa League team's playing better than your first team. Play your Europa League team. Then, you know, a couple of weeks down the line, start playing the Europa team.
It's like he's done it. Exactly.
That
was us. Exactly. We want some credit for that. Arse bros. You know, anytime something good happens at Arsenal, it's us. Like, let that be known.
We said it.
Yeah, we said it. Yeah, we're the only opinion that the coaching staff at Arsenal value.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not a big time podcast, and we say it first.
And we're not delusional. Like I hear what you lot are saying. We're not delusional. We are just
no.
But shit, I forgot what I was saying now. Doesn't matter.
Nah, it can't be that
bullshit. Yeah, it was bullshit anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of bull crap and everything else, and rumours and whatever. We've got the transfer window. You know, there's been some talk in the transfer news and stuff. There's been a few rumours there about incomings and outgoings so far. One prominent outgoing is going to be Balogun at the end of the season. There was big talk about his, or big rumours, should I say, about his agent is asking for pretty much more money than what Saka and Martinelli are on. You know, and I think it's unjustified. You know, the door's that way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just look with him. We know we've heard that he's a really promising player. Anyone that watches like the sort of youth team games and whatnot says that he is a very promising player. But as a result, he's been getting sort of offers from other clubs. And so if they're asking for that type of money, it means that they've pretty much been offered something close to it somewhere else. You know, there's not much we can do about that. You know, his agent is there to sort of get him the best deal that he can. But long as he goes somewhere that he's not, you know, he's actually going to play some football, then it might be the best move for him. But it's ridiculous to be asking for Saka money when you haven't actually done anything to prove that you can cut it at the top level. You know, it's all potential at the moment, and you can't pay for potential when it's that raw. Yeah, you know, you have to have played some Premier League games and scored against some Premier League teams to say, yeah, you're worthy of that. So if he wants to go, you can go.
I agree, and I think one's for me people who are paying the dues a little bit. You know, you look at the likes of Smith Rowe. He's paid his dues. You know, he's been out on loan. He's worked his way through the youth system, brought himself up. You know, played in the under-23s, played a few on fringe games and stuff like, you know, like against, what should I say, pre-season friendlies and possibly like poor Europa League teams and stuff like that. So, and then he's been on loan to like Huddersfield and places like that. Even Nketiah, he's paid his dues. He's been on loan, he's come through and everything else. So I think there's only been really from recently, there's only been 2 exceptions, and that's probably Martinelli and Saka, who just sort of shown something amazing to be thrown in. So yeah, it's a case of obviously 2 anomalies and 2 that are paid the dues. Sometimes the anomalies like Saka and Martinelli, you can see there's massive amounts of potential there, and they hit the ground running. By all means, Balogun could do that for the first team. He could come in on the game, he could hit the ground running, he could score a couple of goals, and then do the same the next game after that. But sometimes you think, well, I've got Aubameyang, I've got Lacazette, and I've got Nketiah, and I've got Martinelli who can play in that position. Do I take a risk on a under 23 player? Is it worth the risk playing a young player in that position? Is it worth it, or shall I just carry on as I am and let him work his way through, pay his dues a bit?
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes it does backfire. I think there was a similar situation with Pogba when he was at Man United the first time, and his contract was coming to an end. He asked for quite a bit of money, and he was demanding first team football. Alex Ferguson didn't think like he was ready, so they let him go. Juventus did. He went there, became a big name in football, and then Man United have to pay 80 million or whatever to bring him back. So that 80 million they could have kept, had they just sort of had seen what was there in the first place. So you don't want Arsenal to make that same mistake. You do want to say, really look at this kid's potential. Is he really going to make it? We don't want to have to get rid of him, and then he becomes this world beater, and then and we have the same regrets that we had with Gnabry.
Yeah, there is that. But sometimes you can see that sort of talent straight away, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's like, oh, is it going to fade away, or is it this, or is it that? Yeah. It's hit and miss, isn't it? It's like that with a lot of football players, like you just said there. Look at Paul Pogba, and there's many more out there who we could probably think of. That's
what I would have preferred, that he got Nketiah's minutes, so we could actually see what he's got, and he could have shown us. And then look, and if he was the next Saka, because look, if this was Saka, before he actually came into the first team, and then we let him go, and then with the same Saka that we see now, we saw for Liverpool, whoever, we would be like, what the hell were these guys doing? Why did we let this kid go?
Yeah.
So on one hand, you think, okay, he's been greedy, cool, let him go. And one side of me says that, but on the other side, I'm like, just as long as you are sure, do not let the next Saka, the next Smith Rowe, don't let him go just because you don't want to, because you don't think that he's earned the wages that he's asked for. Yeah.
Yeah, there is that. But I think it's just that demanding as well, isn't it? That thing where you're saying, I want 80k a week for argument's sake. And you're looking at him thinking, hang on a minute, Saka, who's been outstanding all season so far and is only on 75k, for just for argument's sake, are you worth that extra 5k a week? Probably not. So yeah, it is. There's so many things about it, isn't there? So, but for me, personally, I think because he hasn't shown much yet, he hasn't really hit the ground running per se. I think it's time to maybe say, Lord, I wish you well. Good luck. The door's that way.
That looks like that's what's going to happen. So let's see what happens.
I've just seen this comment from Beyond the Ball again. Laka, Bellerin, Guendouzi, Touré, and Louise. That would raise something to get Haaland, surely. # dreaming. Yeah, you're definitely dreaming there, love.
100% dreaming.
100% dreaming. Also, on the seems to be on the way out in the summer is Lacazette. He looks like he might be on the way out of the club at the end of the season. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Yeah, I'm cool with it. He's at that age. His contract's at that point where
he's got a year left at the obviously in the summertime. I think he's got a year left.
Yeah. So it's like, what do you do? Do you extend it, or or do you sell him? And I think from what we've seen, since we bought him, to be fair, he was never quite good enough to be a starting Arsenal striker consistently. We bought him with that sense that we were going to upgrade from Giroud, and I don't think we actually did.
He was brought in to be that 20 goal season player.
Yeah, and he never quite achieved that. So and at his age and whatnot, would I be happy for us to extend his contract? And he probably asked for more money, even though he wouldn't deserve it. I'll be like, no, I'm pretty much against giving these like guys that are 30 or 30 plus or thereabouts like long contracts. So I prefer to let him go and either give his minutes to Martinelli or go out and get somebody else.
Yeah, I think definitely, and obviously there's a striker who has been linked with us. Is we've mentioned it before, is Edouard from Celtic. I know there's a lot of talk about people from players from the Scottish League being such a lower league and everything else like that, but I think a lot of people out there forget who has actually come into the Premier League from Celtic. We've got one of our own in Kieran Tierney. You've had Henrik Larsson, who played at Manchester United. We've got Virgil van Dijk. He came from Celtic. So it's like, I think you forget some of the class players that do come from the Scottish Premier League over the years. There's probably been a lot more. They're the only ones I can really remember. But I know Henrik Larsson is an absolute god in Glasgow, the Celtic side of Glasgow. And he was immense for Man United.
Yeah, look, there is more. There is more. I don't want to say because I'm gonna look stupid, but there's a few players I've got sort of going in my head where I'm like, yeah, you actually at one point you did play in the Scottish League. Look,
Arteta played in the Scottish League, by the way. I just want to point that out as well.
Yeah. So look, some players you can just give the eye test to. You can just look at them and be like, look, they just move a bit quicker, they're a bit sharper, they're just a bit more intelligent than the other players in that league. They stand out. Same way you can go to this French league and you can go to even go South America, you go to Brazilian league. It's still none of them on the level of the Premier League, but you can still find gems there. So I've got no problems buying players from Celtic. They've not had the best season this year. So it'd probably be a good time to, get him because they're not that force that they were. And you might be thinking, shit, like, we're like 18 points behind Rangers. If Arsenal come knocking, that's definitely like a step up for me. So yeah, I think he's a good player. He's good. He's strong. He's not going to come and score 25 league goals, but
probably not his first season. No, but you never know, do you? In a couple of seasons down the line,
you never. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if we're talking about some of the more promising strikers that are not currently at the top sides, he's one of them. He's gettable. So I'll be with that.
He came. Yeah, you got to remember as well. He came from PSG youth system, I think. So yeah, he definitely came from the PSG youth system. So he's got that in his back pocket as well. And I'm sure PSG, with the amount of money being pumped into their squad or their actual facilities, I'm sure their training camps and youth system is actually quite a good youth system. I'm not intelligent, I'm not clued up on that, but I would assume so with the amount of money that they've got behind them.
Yeah, just French, the country of France and development of young players is outstanding. A lot of countries have sort of copied their format in terms of finding young players, training up young players and whatnot. When you sort of start going through the list of players that have come through their academies and stuff, there, it's nuts.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah, come on. I mean, look, you look at their World Cup squads. They won the World Cup, and and you see like they all sort of came through the academy. It was they set the example of how to do things, and I think if we probably had time to sit down and look at England and whatnot and what they've been doing of late, I'm pretty sure they would have copied a lot from what goes on in France and in Paris. because we're producing some shit hot players right about now.
Yeah, well. It seems to be a really good time for English youth system. Especially with the players that are coming in and coming, that we're noticing lately. So yeah, it's definitely up there. I agree with you.
Yeah,
in that sort of sense.
Yeah, the England team. Like, look, I know with Arsenal and stuff.
England team right now is garbage. I think maybe in a couple of years' time.
Right now it's garbage. Couple of years, it's going to be. I think it's going to be shit hot. You know? Yeah, definitely. Just
whether they win anything is.
I mean, no, they're not going to win nothing. But but on paper, you're gonna be like, ooh, like look at all these players that light up the Premier League week in, week out, all playing together. It's on paper it's gonna look good, but Gareth Southgate, whatever, we ain't winning nothing.
He never won anything anyway, did he?
Not that I remember.
No, I don't either. I ain't got a clue. That's one thing there. But we have got competition for Edouard, apparently. It came out today, I believe, that what's his name at Leicester?
Brendan Rodgers, that's it. God, I'm terrible at names.
Brendan Rodgers, apparently there's been he's after him as well, and apparently it's rumours to say that it's about 15 million that I reckon's going to get him, but that's just all paper talk. So it could be true that the rumours are out there. He's after him. After all, he did sign him when he was at Celtic. So it's a possibility, definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he goes there and Vardy's still there, he knows he's not number one.
Yeah, but how long's Vardy got left? He's getting on a bit now. What is he pushing 31, 32 maybe?
Yeah, but still,
Leicester's not going to replace him.
Yeah, look, Leicester's not a club where you go and sit down and wait, because there's so much prestige at it's just a prestigious club that you're willing to just sit on the bench and sort of wait your turn. So if we're talking about competition, and it's like, okay, Leicester are in for you, Arsenal are in for you. You say, well, look, if I play for Arsenal, there's still going to be a lot of eyes on me. It's still a big club, and they're promising me this amount of minutes. It's and it's a London club, because nobody wants to live in Leicester. It's just not.
I've been there a couple of times, mate.
Nobody. People around the world don't be like, oh, I would love to live in Leicester. No one says that.
No one says that.
No one says that. So we've got that as well. So yeah, it's London. Come on, So I would fancy our chances of getting him if we were serious about getting him.
Yeah, sorry, I've just seen this comment again. Be on the ball. Thank you so much for just posting. You and DWTT in the comments. You're making the comment section look really good for us. I'm telling you, it's great. And she just put a comment on there. And an England team with more spuds than Arsenal players will never succeed. Do you know what? I completely agree with you.
Yeah, they're bottom.
When you haven't got winning mentality players who win trophies year in, year out, you can't expect them to win a national trophy.
Exactly. No, that was never going to be the case.
There was a pundit who said that as well. I can't remember who it was, but I'll have to think. I'll get back to you if I remember. But yeah, we'll get back onto the transfer news just quickly. Obviously, we have been heavily linked with Lamptey and Konate from Leipzig. He's been linked as well recently, and outgoings again. Terrell looks like he's set to be leaving. I think he's Fiorentina. I think they're ready to make a bid, or what's rumoured to make a bid. And Guendouzi is pretty much on his way out, as well as obviously we talked about Bellerin and Lacazette. So, have you got any issues with any of them? Obviously, Lamptey and Konate. I think Konate is a centre back, but he can also play right back, or more right back who can play centre back. And Lamptey again is another right back. So, do we need two?
We wouldn't get two.
No,
we wouldn't get two. So if we're linked,
keeping our options open.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen too much of Konate. I'm not going to lie, but I've heard his name bandied around quite a bit. I know Leipzig. They've got a good team, and they've got like good young players there. So
he's only a 21-year-old player. So he's got the age profile.
Yeah,
similar to Lamptey. I think he's only a young player as well.
Yeah, Lamptey's young. Yeah, Lamptey's a youngster as well. So I think that's not bad. That's not, if we've got somebody like Cedric there, is experienced and whatnot, then balance it out with some youth, who coming up. So I'm not against young players. Injuries, yes, I know Atleti has had some problems with injuries of late. You can't really ask us because we're not physios, we're not, doctors. We don't know if there's something that's going to be sort of ongoing in his career. But I like him as a player. I would definitely take him.
Yeah. Cory was just answering a comment from DWTT. Lamptey is injured again. Is that a concern? It's Arsenal, mate. Injuries are always a concern. We've been through many of injury.
We don't know. Even when you are young, sometimes young players do get injured. They're growing, their bones are stretching and whatnot, so their muscles are still tightening. So sometimes they go through that and then they're fine for a long time throughout their career. Look like Gael Clichy, like he was just constantly injured all the time. But then he went for a point where he just like no injuries whatsoever. So
not for a while, was it? Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it for tonight's show. I don't know what else to talk about, to be fair, and I couldn't remember the pundit. That's gone from me, but I know there was a pundit who mentioned it. I actually laughed at it. Chances are it's probably Roy Keane. He's always making stuff like that up, to be fair. And he had a really good argument with Jamie Redknapp on the last Tottenham game. I think it was. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what game it was, but yeah, he had a really good argument. I thought it was brilliant with Jamie Redknapp. So it's on YouTube. Go watch it, please. It's funny.
Yeah, I will. I love Roky. I like, I don't always agree with him, but I love people that speak their mind. And he's definitely that. He's good television. It's good entertainment.
It's always good watching an argument.
Like me. Yeah?
It's always good watching an argument.
Of course, isn't it? Like when you sit here and you watch me and
Ryan,
yeah, go ahead. It's like,
why did the guy invite you on?
Yeah,
it's the only reason. Watch you two go at it. It's funny. So yeah, I think we will end it there. We've probably been an hour. I think, to be fair, I think we've probably run out of stuff to talk about now. To be honest with you, it's one of them weeks, isn't it, where it's like nothing really major's gone on. So it's there's only really transfer rumours, and all you can do is speculate.
An hour is cool. That's like it's supposed to be an hour. When we go hour and a half, that's always an accident.
Yeah, this is true, and obviously I don't want to end it when things are just going on so well. Yeah. Everyone, so there's no point in ending it, and it's good entertainment for people who do actually watch us. So and on that, thank you very much, everyone who has watched us tonight. Please, if you don't mind, give the show a like and by all means subscribe if you really are enjoying us on YouTube. And we'll see you next Friday for the Tottenham game. This is going to be a nice one, mate. I think I'm going to try and get a nice a couple more of us. So it won't be just me and Cory. I'll have another couple of people I'll remember for this week. If not, it'll be just me and you, mate.
Hey, shit.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
We should just end the show just like that. Just have you singing at the end. And then Smooth Cory does it again. Yep, so we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me, Cory, as always, mate.
No worries, man.
And thank you again, everyone in the chat and everyone who watches. And catch us up on. Well, you'll see the outtake, the outro, the intro. Catch us on YouTube and everything else, and Twitter. How to contact us, how to see us. If you want to contact us or anything else, the Twitter handles are underneath us here. And hang on, I've got to get this right there and there. It's always weird when you try and do it backwards. Because
that's what she said.
On that note.
This is an Arse Brothers production. Follow us on Twitter at The Arse Brothers. Get all our content on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify and SoundCloud at Arse Bros. And if you like what you hear, Don't forget to smash that subscribe button.